There's blood in the sky and it's falling on me. Nearly cascading as it washes me clean. The blood of many will be spilled by my hand.
Kick it off.
You know the dance moves at the start of the video.
If that starts getting us hits, then that will be the video. So
just hashtag bear liberty. Bear liberty.
I don't care who the audience is, as long as it hits.
Summertime, when I start wearing tank tops, we have lots of views.
This is great. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cities of Blood podcast. I'm Phil DeSaro.
I'm Alexis Terevko.
And today we're talking about Jussie Smollett. We had one video earlier, which was just a snippet, which we were actually shot while we were shooting another podcast.
That was the breaking news. That was our first ever breaking news.
That was breaking news, and at that point in time, it was all speculation.
It was all brand new.
Yeah. Well, there was no real proof. The speculation, was it a hoax? Was it a hate crime? Now we pretty much know it was a hoax. But the question is, by creating a hoax that would, stir up hate, is that in itself a hate crime?
I think so.
So now is Jussie Smollett guilty of perpetrating a hate crime?
I'm going to break out my imaginary gavel and my imaginary robe and my imaginary powdered white wig. And guilty.
Guilty
on all counts.
Not looking good for Jussie.
Now, here's the thing is, I maybe we mentioned last video, I don't remember. Did you know who he was before this happened?
Had no idea.
Did you know that he was even on a TV show or...
No, I had heard of the show Empire, obviously, but right. I wasn't that
he was a character.
Familiar with the show. I didn't know he was a character. I didn't realize he was a singer and recording artist.
No, I had no clue either.
Or that he was gay. Had no idea.
I do know that in that video, I said I wasn't sure if he was gay, and they bashed him because he played a gay character, or if he really was gay and still playing a gay character. I know that's on part of the video, and I know I said it privately too, and I literally had no clue who the guy was. Never heard of him. Never heard of his music. I never watched Empire.
Well, now everybody knows who you are, Jussie.
Yeah, and everybody knows you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, this is really not a cool thing to do. Especially, considering the heightened, racism of these times, or
right.
The race relations, I'll say that in this country, right, is probably at an all-time low outside of maybe the 60s, right?
I would say definitely we're not that low.
Yeah. Because
people...
At least since, let's say, the LA riots, maybe.
Probably, Rodney King era.
Yeah. It feels tense, like do the right thing again, when I was growing up watching that type of...
And I feel like, too, it's like he tried... almost inciting a riot.
Yeah.
A race riot. Or race riot. Because he tried to say it was two white men.
Okay, and we're back after our normal technical difficulties here at Cities of Blood podcast.
We need a technician.
We really need a technician.
Who wants to come hang out with us a few times a month?
Just another extension cord, maybe. But, so we were talking about Jussie Smollett and the fact that it's really looking like, beyond a reasonable doubt, that
guilty,
that he faked this, and that there was no attack at all. It looks like he rehearsed it. It looks like one of the guys involved was actually his personal trainer and also worked with him on the set.
They were extras on the show, right?
At least one of them was an extra on the show. They're brothers. They were both born in this country. They released a statement saying that they're not homophobic and they're not anti-Trump, and that basically Jussie Smollett staged this whole thing because he didn't get enough attention with a letter that he received a few weeks ago that was basically a threatening letter saying, "Die, Jussie Smollett," and had a childish type depiction of somebody hanging from a tree.
Now, is this the letter that was, I don't know, I always call it like the ransom letter looking thing?
Kinda. It was addressed, or the return address was MAGA country or something like that.
Right.
So it really seems like he was hell bent on stirring up something that had to do with Trump and him getting bashed for being African American and for being homosexual.
Now, here's my question to you would be, and you may have been the one that said this to me, but maybe it was somebody else. Isn't the thing going around that he didn't want to act anymore?
I don't know. I had heard the opposite. I had heard that he was worried that his role on the show was about to end, whether he was going to be written off of the show.
Oh, he's getting written off.
Yeah, well, now he is,
Yeah.
definitely. You've definitely caused that. You brought that on yourself, bud. So this is a...
so he was... Okay, so maybe that's what I misunderstood was he was thinking that he was maybe not going to be on the show anymore.
Exactly. And that maybe this, getting himself thrown back into the headlines for this type of thing
would save his role.
And he apparently staged the attack. Like I said, he knew the two guys. They were brothers. He worked with at least one of them. One of them was his personal trainer. These guys are ripped. And they're big guys.
Super jacked.
And so...
I was trying to find a picture of one of them to show, but...
The thought of somebody Jussie Smollett's size fighting off two guys like this while holding onto his cell phone and talking to his manager at the same time is kind of laughable.
I'm 6'1" and 275 pounds, and I'm pretty good with my hands, and I couldn't have held onto my cell phone with those guys.
That's the first thing you lose in a fight. Normal, if it's especially if it's in your hands when somebody attacks you.
And like one of the guys, I mean, it's always hard to tell in pictures. Looked like an African American version of Dave Bautista.
Well, the one guy
super.
Yeah, well, the one guy. I think there's footage. The one guy is a boxer.
Oh,
so the whole thing is just absurd. But of course, the way Jussie had it in his head was they had masks on and it was winter time, and
right.
He actually set this up so that to my listeners out there who aren't watching the video, my good buddy Johnny Cash here, my black cat, is sitting on my lap, and so if you're hearing a little bit of purring, that's him.
That would be him.
The
not all the women steaming after Phil online.
No, not yet. There's always hope.
When we get some more subscribers, that'll start happening.
Right.
Phil will start getting those prison letters.
The fan club. That's a whole nother episode. The prison letters.
Oh, we could do that one next. Oh.
So he staged this attack in an area where he thought the camera would catch him. There was a surveillance camera nearby.
And it didn't.
It didn't. Apparently it was facing another direction.
The wrong way.
And the wrong way. And that's why he's an actor and not a director. And so,
this is
completely missed the action. It missed his harrowing ordeal, right? His heroic,
heroism.
How he heroically fought off two attackers while maintaining his, composure and holding onto his cell phone.
And I think, and it's for me, it's like, okay, I get he was trying to get his name in the paper or whatever you want to call it. That's an old term. I sound really old saying name in the paper. No one knows. Name on the internet. Name on TMZ. Here's who you piss off when you do something this stupid. One, Robin Roberts, the esteemed reporter.
Oh, that interview he did with her when he started, getting emotional and welling up in tears.
If I'm Robin Roberts, I would love to hear Robin Roberts
scold him right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I would be, I not only would be pissed if I was Robin Roberts, I would be offended.
He's sticking to his guns though.
His lawyers are sticking to his guns.
Yeah.
He's pissed off the LGBTQ community with this, the thing they fight against the most, he lied about.
Yeah.
He now has made the idiots, MAGA terrorist people, or whatever you want to call them.
Oh yeah.
See, we're not always that bad. It's the blacks or the gays or whatever they're going to say,
or the liberals,
or whatever it is that they want. They're against. They're going to blame that on you.
The Democrats.
Yeah, anything that's not MAGA supporter.
Yeah.
Who else? He's pissed off Chicago PD. Probably one department in the world you don't want to piss off is Chicago PD.
Well, I mean, this type of thing could incite race riots or something. At least, race violence.
But that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we were recording yet, but he literally tried to incite a riot, a race riot.
And is that in itself a hate crime?
Yes, in my view.
Yeah. So.
Because if you and I went out to Del Paso Boulevard, not that we would ever do this,
Yeah.
and we said we were attacked by two men that we fought off, and in this case, we're pretty sure they were black.
Tried to make heroes out of ourselves.
But we fought them off valiantly.
Yep.
And it came out to be that you hired me to attack you.
Yeah.
And I really just threw you on the ground and you rubbed your face on the concrete.
Oh my goodness.
We would be vilified. We would be vilified. And he should be. He should absolutely never work in the industry again.
Yeah. I'm not going to, be the person who decides that. I just think it's, one, it's a crime, and he's going to end up paying a penalty for sure.
I think he's going to do all 3 years in prison.
But
I think, too, the letter thing is a federal offense.
Absolutely, because he mailed it.
Yep. And so now he's got...
That's why the FBI is involved now. So now, first you went from Chicago PD, so now you got the feds on you, buddy.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is that... And the DA in Chicago is all about punishing celebrities.
Of course.
They're not going to... The thing on TMZ earlier was that they're full extent of the law. Whatever they can get them for, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And now you do this thing with the FBI. The FBI is going to be like, I don't know what mailing a fraudulent letter would be like that, or hate letter like that to yourself could be. But it's got to be a couple years. And you do federal time. You do 100%.
His persistency is what cracks me up. Is one, he fakes the letter, but he seemed to have gotten away with it. Do you know what I mean? Nobody was really questioning the letter. But now this... Well,
and the thing was Chicago PD didn't know about the letter until after this.
Oh, boy.
So, because it was one of those things that the studio was dealing with the letter. And I feel like, maybe he thought his career was going down the tubes, or his acting career, or whatever.
Yeah.
He still committed a crime. Multiple crimes. They may not have hurt anyone, but what would he have done if... I don't know.
Well, what if somebody, retaliated for him? Somebody who was a big Empire fan and said, you know what, nobody's going to treat Jussie that way.
Right.
And he goes out and shoots a white person in retaliation.
Or he shoots somebody wearing a
MAGA hat, right?
And that man may have a different political view or agenda than you, but he didn't deserve to be shot. Anyways, yeah, in my view, this guy's as guilty as his crime. And, honestly, if he went away, I wouldn't be upset.
His empire rule has been slashed in the wake of attack.
Yeah. They cut him from 9 scenes to 3 or something like that.
As for the remaining 4 scenes, we're told he's no longer the focus.
Yeah. So he's basically going to be in a scene with 9 people.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he had to have seen that coming. The minute it came into question, his, I don't know, the viability of this even being real.
It's just crazy the lengths that somebody will go to try to boost their career, and look at what you've done. You've destroyed your career, at least temporarily. I don't know. I've seen people rebound from stuff, but I mean, look at Jane Fonda.
Right. But I just feel like that different era, and in this era, something like this will...
Jane Fonda did her little, stripper dance on the top of North Vietnamese friggin' Jeeps.
Right.
I saw that footage way back in the day. So, and then she became America's sweetheart in the 80s again. So, maybe in 20 years, Jussie, you might be America's sweetheart again. As for right now, you're going to be a pariah for a while.
Yeah, you're going to be working at Trader Joe's.
These guys.
Not that there's anything wrong with Trader Joe's.
No, my favorite store. So the brothers' names are Abel and Ola Osundairo. I'm probably slaughtering that last name.
Probably.
I don't want to say Osundario because it's not like that. It's Daro. Maybe the I is silent. Osundaro, something like that. They told the cops they got into a car with Jussie and scouted the location. They found the right place right outside the actor's apartment. Jussie chose it because he thought there was a camera there, and as we said before, the camera was there, but it wasn't pointed in that direction. So that wonderful choreography, a la Jussie Smollett, the world will never get to see.
Right, and that's the thing too is let's do this crime that no one's gonna see.
No one's gonna see.
We don't get to see his valiant effort in fighting off two of these monster men.
This is a classic case here. I guess what's comical and sad at the same time is there are just so many times where you had an opportunity to stop this.
Yeah.
Right? You did the letter thing. It didn't get a whole lot of press. You got away with it, it seemed. Mm-hmm. You had a chance. It could have just let it go. You didn't stop. You had to push this further. Now you go through the trouble of hiring two guys and getting these poor guys involved in this for what, $4,000?
Something like that.
And, I mean, plan it, scout it out, try to choreograph a fight that's not too physical, right? So you can hold on to your phone and your dignity.
And they said too the car switching scenario was like something out of like a spy movie where
a cheap spy movie.
Yeah, like they took, basically they got tracked by taxis and Ubers. That's how they figured out who these guys were.
Wow. Just ridiculous, guys. To think that you can get away with shit these days is...
And especially in a city like Chicago that does have cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And they even have drones that fly.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, a city as dangerous as Chicago, right? Isn't it called Chirac?
Oh, I don't know. I know that...
this is where this happened, right? We're not
Chicago.
Like talking out of
our it's Chicago. Yeah. They film Empire in Chicago.
Well, I'm just trying to put my mind in this.
But
situation.
I mean, Chicago is a very violent city. I mean,
right.
They had, what was it? A couple. I don't know. It was last year or 2017 when they had like something like 300 murders in a 3-week span or something like that.
And he decides to get something to eat at 2 a.m.
Yeah. And I think we talked about that before. Celebrities have a different schedule than people who work a 9 to 5. I'm not going to say I've never been that person to get in my car, get in an Uber at 2 a.m. and go to Denny's. Yeah. So I can't diss or talk.
I'm not going to completely, but at the same time, if I were alone in Chicago or New York or hell, even LA, I'd think twice about it. Like you said, I might have an Uber waiting for me downstairs.
Right.
And hell yeah.
I'm not walking anywhere.
Take me to the Taco Bell drive-thru. But to think that I'm just going to... No. But whatever. None of that is really relevant at all. The whole thing just turns out to be a big bullshit hoax to try to boost this guy's career.
Right.
And the irresponsibility of his actions and the amount of times where he could have stopped. Like I said, it's... he could have stopped with a letter. He could have stopped as he's talking about it with these guys. No, he's going to take it further. Now they're scouting locations. They could have stopped. Now they've got it to the point where it didn't get caught on video. There were no witnesses around. He has to then walk inside and decide, should I report this? Because he doesn't report it to anybody at first.
No.
Right? Because he has to think about it. Jesus, how nobody saw this? How do I report this? Right? And
I also feel like too. I thought I was going to update this from it. That's part of my reasoning for he's guilty. Because what you just said, from the letter to the calling of the police or whoever he told to call the police, because I still think it was like somebody from the show that called. He could have, at that point, stopped this whole thing. And he could have still claimed that letter was real.
The whole thing?
But eventually, the law is going to get involved.
the part where
the letter would have been investigated by the FBI. And the minute you get the feds involved, you're really. So him sticking to his guns, even though everyone's like, no, he set this up.
He has no choice now. It's desperation.
He has to stick to his guns. Now, I'm sure he's going to go to rehab, or he's going to have some mental issue, or he has a drinking problem, or a drug problem. It's going to be, mark my words, it's going to happen, and he's going to post the I'm sorry, sobbing,
Well, we know he knows how to cry. We saw it on that interview.
Right? So...
that was some terrible acting too, by the way, Jussie. I mean, come on.
And I think too, it becomes.
He was trying to act mad and upset all at the same time, and it was just, come on, dude.
An act followed by an act followed by an act followed by an act.
This is just the most pathetic kind of story.
So here's what I want to say to whoever watches this: is he guilty or not guilty? That's all I want from everybody. Post in the comments below.
To actually weigh in on the post.
weigh in on the post. Guilty or not guilty. I don't need an explanation. Just one word or 2 words if it's not guilty.
I think it's starting to look like he's guilty. From the beginning, it looked suspicious, and every single hour...
pounding my gavel saying guilty as many times as I pounded it.
It seems like by the hour, more stuff is coming out, more details about just how guilty and how ridiculous and poorly planned this whole ridiculous thing was. Wow. Thankfully, nobody else has gotten hurt as a result of his...
well, yeah, thankfully nobody has
stir up hate.
Exactly, and thankfully...
Yeah.
Well...
That's a hate monger, hate crime. Yeah, that's about enough for Jussie Smollett. And we will talk to you guys next week on City's Blood Podcast.
Bye.
Can't